relationships. And your life is about relationships. I'm sure that he didn't have in his plan to pass away at the age of 45. But the lives that he touched in that time, in that short time span, hundreds, thousands of students, and who knows how many other people along the way. And so when you really look at your own life and your own career, and you look back, what would other people say about you? What would other people say about you? If they did a dedication CD about you, do you think that what people are going to be really concerned about is, oh yeah, he was Employee of the Month 3 times, that's great. And that's not to say that you shouldn't try to accomplish things, but you've got to be concerned about your relationships first and foremost. It's about people. So, this is probably a mistake to put this in here. When I look at kind of why I make the decisions that I make and the things that I've done in my life, this is my top priority. Right? It's fine. I know that some of you know that I got all of this attention about this recent research article that I did. And in fact, I did a phone interview with a reporter from Scientific American or something the other day. I've been on Irish radio and all these kind of just bizarre things. And at the end of the day, to them, I'm still just daddy, right? And that's what matters right there. But the other thing that's they're why I make the decisions that I make. But the other thing that matters to me is these people. So this is sort of my second family. Right, so I don't know Brian here. So our 2011 communication graduates. You guys matter to me. And I really do care about what happens to you. And I hope that makes a difference. Because I know that when I think about people that have said, you'll be missed here and things like that, it's not because the stuff that I teach in comm theory is so riveting. I know that. And comm theory is boring some days. It's okay. And I really think it's because of the investment. And I really do care about you guys. And that's the way you need to live your life. Because that's the part that you can't get back. And so the other part of that, see, I'm going to make everybody cry, including myself. Never underestimate your ability to make a difference in someone's life. I had a chance to go back and talk to Susan Klein 2 weeks ago in Orlando at the National Communication Association Conference. I went and hunted her down at the University of Kentucky party. Every time I go to NCA, they have these little departmental parties, and Michigan State always tries to throw this giant frat party like thing, but no offense, it's all good. It's true, though. Come on, you can't deny that. Theirs is always the latest one, and they always have free booze. The University of Kentucky party had like Jell-O, like moose shooters and things without, there was a booze in it, but they had really good desserts. So, see, there's even tangents to the tangents. So I go to this party because my former advisor to Ohio State, Laura Stafford, is at the University of Kentucky now. And so I wanted to go see her. And when I went in, it just so happened that other faculty that had been at Ohio State when I was there were there. And I found Susan Klein, and I went up to her, and I said, I just want to let you know that you really made a difference in my life. It was something that you said during my master's thesis defense. And she was super humble about it. Of course, her response was, well, if I hadn't said so what, then Laura Stafford would have. I'm thinking, no. She hadn't so far, and she was my advisor. So it's good that you did. And so I think you never know what those little things might make a difference to someone. There was a couple months ago actually this might have been a year ago now, one of our former grads who I had, I think, written a rec letter for once. I had her in class a few times. I talked to her a lot and things like that, but I didn't feel like we had a really close relationship. And then she contacted me through Facebook, literally like 2 years after graduation, and told me, I just want to let you know that I really appreciated the things that you did for me and the things that you talked about in class and the way that you helped me with this rec letter and just the guidance that you gave me and the conversations that we had. And I just want to let you know that you just don't know. You don't know. Something that seems so insignificant can make such a difference to someone. And the other thing, and this is the one that I've been trying to do a lot of lately, the other thing that we're really bad at as a society is if somebody makes a difference in your life, tell them. I was fortunate to be able to go back to Capitol and get one last chance to talk to Steve Esposito before he died. But there are a lot of people that wouldn't necessarily have that. And I think that so often we get caught up in our own lives that we just sort of let things go. And we don't really tell people how much we appreciate things. And I'm not talking about gratitude in the sense of you tell your server thank you because they refill your water glass. I mean, really telling people thank you when they make a difference to you. And when I told Susan Klein that story about so what, she said to me, thank you. And someone else was staying there with her said, not enough people hear that. She said, and this guy that was staying there with her, Don Segala, who my only experience with was being stuck in an elevator with him one time at Ohio State. And it was funny because I remember that. My only experience was I was stuck in an elevator with Segala and he was swearing like a sailor. And so when I met him at NCA, I said, oh yeah, I was stuck in an elevator with you once. He said, yeah, I bet I was swearing a lot. I said, but he was the one that said, when I told Susan Klein that, he said, not enough people do that. And she said, in our jobs where so often the things that we do go unrecognized, we need to hear that. And it's not just in academia. I know this is not some kind of a weird ploy to try to get you to all pat me on the back after I'm done. Not that narcissistic. But I think it is something where you really have to kind of think about it. And I've tried to go back and talk to my advisors and hunt people down and say, look, I appreciate what you did. And even over Thanksgiving, we went to my wife's cousin's house, and they had this big spread. They rented furniture for it. They bought all these turkeys. They worked all day. And at the end of the day, everybody left. Nobody said anything. And I went up to her and I said, you know what? I just want to let you know that I appreciate everything you did. And that matters to people. It doesn't seem like much. Thank you cards are a lost art in our society. So if someone makes a difference in your life, make sure that you tell them. And so, in sort of taking my own advice, I want to thank you guys for, see, this is the part that I know I was going to have trouble with. I've had a lot of opportunities here that I don't think I would have gotten in other places. And just being able to be a part of your lives and the lives of people that have gone before you, and to be, I don't know why this has turned into a discussion of death and Facebook, but to be Facebook friends with so many alums and to be connected on LinkedIn and to see the places that people have gone and to still be able to be connected with people and to think that you're doing this now and you let me into your life for this small little window of time, that's a privilege. And I don't think that a lot of us as faculty realize how much of a privilege that is. And so I'll be back here for graduation in the spring, but it's the last time. And it's something that, to be able to be a part of someone's life like that, it's hard to kind of describe that. And I was trying to think of some examples of different stories of little things that made a difference to me in my time here. And I put together a list, and I was telling Ryan ahead of time here that, see, you told me you wanted back in. So Ryan and I spent a lot of time in my office, and when Ryan was applying to grad schools, and she was wondering about her acceptances, I actually made a FERPA violation phone call to, well, it wasn't a FERPA violation, I was told what FERPA violations were. So I called one of the schools she had applied to, Vanderbilt, and I said, hey, I was just checking on the status of one of my grads. She or one of my students, she's just really interested in her status of her application. The departmental secretary in a very snooty way. Well, I don't have that information, and besides, that is confidential, and according to FERPA, I can't tell you that. Thank you. Informing me about laws that I'm supposed to know. But I remembered that, right? That was something that we shared this moment, right? Or when a group of students who will remain nameless called my office phone and left 7 voicemails at 1:30 in the morning from Cascarilla. Students may or may not be Nicole Anagon, Emma Adams, and Spencer Prado, but I still have those messages. You know, I mean, that sounds silly, but that kind of stuff, I remember that. You know, that sort of stuff matters. And obviously, I tried to kind of boil this down to one sort of serious thing. So I brought a visual aid. You're asking, why did you bring a book that says "Say Daddy" when you're talking about students? I never thought about that until now we'll get a little funny. You can actually see this book, which you probably can't, but I'll kind of bring it up. This book I actually put together myself and stapled together. On the front, you'll notice that it says draft. Actual size 10 by 10 hardcover. So, see how we go from making crude jokes to having trouble holding myself together. This book was not in print yet when I got this draft. One of my former students, who I didn't get her permission to use her name, I'm sure she wouldn't care if I told this story. Rochelle Clark, who graduated several years ago, and she's now married. Her name's Rochelle Kavanaugh. She married Pat Kavanaugh, who was also one of our grads. She came up to me right after my daughter was born. And she gave me these proofs. And she said that this was her favorite children's book that they printed at her internship at Sleeping Bear Press when she was there. And she thought that my daughter would like it if I read it to her. And I did. You know, I still have this. So that's the kind of stuff you don't get in every job that you're in. And that's the kind of thing that matters to me. And the other thing that I brought, and this is just in cleaning out my office, I stumbled across these. These are thank you cards that different students have got me over the years. There's more of them at home, but you know, I held on to these. This matters to me. And so in terms of my gratitude to you guys, I know that you've told me thank you before, but I want to say thank you to you as well. I have been able to do things here. I basically spent my entire life doing things that I loved. I've got a family that loves me. I've got a great life. And the time that I've spent here has been a big part of that. And Karen, I know that the opportunities you've given me in the department, you know, and just being willing to kind of listen to me and seek my input and trust my opinions and things like that are things that have helped open doors to me in terms of where I am now. And so thank you. You know, I appreciate that. And for those of you that on graduation day, and some of you haven't experienced this, but on graduation day, when people come down and they give you hugs, and they come up afterwards and they say, I wish you knew my mom, because I appreciate the things you've done for me, that stuff matters. And so, you know, in a couple of weeks, once my grades are turned in, I'm not a teacher anymore. At least maybe not for a while. Maybe not ever. But so this really is, I'm milking it for all it's worth here, but this is my last opportunity to really talk to you guys. And I just want you to really go back and think about the question that I put up at the beginning. So when you look at your life, so what? Right? And if there are people in your life that made a difference, make sure that you tell them that. And try to strive to be the kind of person that makes a difference in people's lives. You can accomplish all the things. I know that a lot of you will go on to accomplish great things. Some of you will go on to make a lot of money, to acquire a lot of things. But more importantly, a lot of you are going to go on to be great parents, partners, friends, spouses. So don't lose sight of that. Don't get so caught up in the rat race that you lose sight of what actually matters in life. So, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys letting me come in and share a little bit. I know that it was a little more serious than what most of you are used to out of me, but I really do consider it to be an honor and a privilege to be able to just share some thoughts with you, and for you guys to think that it was worth your time to come out and see what I have to say. So, thank you. So I have that. I'm not going to. Well, or I'm hoping that they'll make it up to the PR. So. Yeah, it's been October 4th is my first day.
I'm trying with this group.
It's annoying.
She did not. I was no longer fooled when she did not transition me at all.
I like it.
I think we already got all of us to change the meeting time for next semester, so I'm just going to go ahead and send it again. If we can't get more people to come to the I'm kind of over it, so but it was the normal people who come to the performance. 20. So it's just not acceptable. I think people are over because they have
the more involved I got in the
so and there, I didn't get notification like 12 people that I got to come, but it's different than what. Am I supposed to congratulate me for that?
If you want to.
That's really my generally, first reaction is a little congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Sometimes it is.
Well, it's hard.
Thanks for putting it up.
Megan probably did the most.
Wow. Thank you for putting it up.
Well, you're one of them.
Really want to make Assassin. I think Assassin would be a really very cool thing to do. Have you ever heard of that? Basically, it's a game where you're on a mission, you get a note card that has a name on it, or your Casey box. You have to find that person. So they get like the other hand, that's why I think they're and in the end, it's like two people left that hanging out.
It's really easy to get a Casey box. Because they're all in the directory.
But we can't just give them cards and then they're not interested. We want to have people sign up for it. We figure like frats and stuff.
Wait, so what are the...
This thing's still working.
Yes.
Oh.